Hey guys, you're watching BTEX. I'm Basil and this is a roundup of my top 6 phones for November 2017, complete with explanations as to why. Before I jump into these, a quick shout out to our sponsors. Direct Mobile is delivering excellent customer service, in fact award-winning and excellent deals across the UK for over 23 years, and Filofax, giving tablets the world over a leg to stand on with the AnyTab 360. This time of year, it looks like the majority of smartphones you're going to be looking at have that 18:9 aspect ratio. In addition to that, if they don't, they've got some unique features, be it the loudest front-firing speakers on the block or a QWERTY keyboard. These are my favorite 6. I couldn't whittle it down to 5, and that's predominantly because I had to get the key one in there, mainly because it's the only QWERTY device around, and it's actually, having used it pretty extensively, one of my favorite smartphones on the scene. And it's the one I'm going to kick off with. This isn't the most powerful device on the block. It's a Snapdragon 6 series device, but it has 64 gig of storage with this black edition, expandable by micro SD card, USB Type-C on the base. You've also got a really big battery, so it lasts for ages. The screen's really great quality, and if you get fed up swiping the screen, the actual keyboard is touch sensitive, perfect for text entry. This is hands down the best device on the block for editing documents. It's been proven in studies that you actually type different stuff to what you type on screen. When you type on a physical keyboard, it is more considered. It does take longer, so it's not necessarily the quicker alternative, but when you're editing documents and quality is at the forefront of your consideration, I can't stress this is probably my favorite work device around. And that's unsurprising. It's a BlackBerry. It comes loaded with BlackBerry Hub, loads and loads of additional elements. Very cool. If you're into BlackBerry, if you're not, then the rest of these devices, one of them will definitely fit the bill. First off, we've got the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Now this is the most powerful device from Samsung to date, 6 GB of RAM. It's a Snapdragon 830 processor. We've seen this before many times, but it is categorically the best screen around. It looks beautiful. It's a very big size. It's going to be too big for some people, but you'll want that extra size when you consider you've got that pen under the hood. 1496 levels of pressure sensitivity. You can sketch on it to perfection. It's also got a really nice refined slick user interface. Samsung's TouchWiz is a little bit heavy for some people. It's definitely not stock, but I really like it. If I could pick any phone out right now to use as a daily driver, it would probably be this one, save for one thing that it's lacking, and that is 2-day battery life. And for that, I'm going to jump over to the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. This is probably the best value for money device you can get. It gives you the same kind of build quality, premium IP67 water and dust resistance that you get on the Samsung, albeit Samsung's IP68. But you get a 4000 milliamp battery paired with that full HD OLED display. On paper, while it might not sound as impressive, viewing angles are excellent, HDR10 capable. It lasts for 2 days, and that, my friends, is absolutely class leading. I love this phone. So even though it doesn't have the pen, which is a real like make or break for me, which is why I'd pick the Note in terms of what's my ideal phone, it has the battery life. So I'm always torn between these two. If I was into speakers, it would be the Razer every single time. The Razer Phone is exceptional value for money, £605 here in the UK. You have a 5.7 Quad HD display, and that's an IGZO display which has 120 frames per second refresh rate, 120 Hertz. Very smooth, and the UI is very smooth. Performance is excellent across the board. The only downside is the fact that despite having the same size battery as the Mate 10 Pro, 4000 milliamps, it doesn't last quite as long, not by a long stretch. It dies after a day is done. That's still probably a little bit better than the Note 8, but it isn't going to be better than, well, the Mate. And that 4000 milliamp mark makes me think the Mate is the key benchmark point for comparison. Still, for gaming, it is second to none, thanks to flat sides, front-firing speakers. Yes, there's no headphone jack, but unlike the Mate 10 Pro, you have a dongle in the box, and that dongle is loaded with a 24-bit DAC. So the Razer Phone is truly the exceptional gaming phone. Also, more and more games are going to be coming out over the coming year to take advantage of that 120 Hertz display. And then you have the LG V30. This is the best phone for video, largely owing to that zoom. So the zoom enables a nice slow zoom in, zoom out, and it offers something called point zoom. So you can tap on a specific element of the screen and it will point in that direction. Even if you're not in Cinevideo mode, you can actually change your mode, go to auto, and a simple drag up and down of the shutter release will enable a very smooth zoom by comparison to most other devices. The wide angle camera is very good, the best LG's produced with no barreling. The design of it is so slick. It's much lighter than the Note 8, much more manageable in terms of the footprint. So for someone who wants Note 8 kind of build quality, the V30 is really cool. The screen also is a little bit better than the Pixel 2 XL. I found it had more even colors, maybe something to do with the polarizer that they apply to it. I don't know, it's technically the same screen, but I've just personally had better experiences. Viewing angles still nothing compared to the Note 8. They are very bad by comparison, but I really like this phone. If you're looking at it head on, it is very cool, and the headphone jack has a quad DAC, so your music should sound excellent. And finally, it is the best point and shoot camera of the bunch. It's a Google Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL. When you just point and shoot with this thing, thanks to Google's very smart software, the auto HDR is super snappy, and you take an excellent photo 99% of the time. The rest of the phone isn't too bad either. It's got the second best front firing speakers around, second only to the Razer Phone, so it's a really good gaming phone. No headphone jack, but it is still IP67, which the Razer Phone unfortunately is not. So it's a real alternative to the Razer Phone, but you will be paying a lot more for it. The 64GB version costs around £799, and if you want to opt for the larger capacity, you're paying an extra £100 on top of that for 128GB. Still, it's decent. It's a bit of a disappointment because the screen's had some burn-in issues, but at the heart of it is still a really good phone, and that's owing largely to those excellent speakers, the really smooth user interface, stock version of Android, very malleable, and that absolutely class-leading camera. And that, my friends, is my top 6 devices out now, each unique in their own way. Let me know what you think. Let me know what's missing from this. Haven't featured an iPhone 10 as I haven't used it extensively. I've used it a bit. Would I feature it in this roundup? I probably would, because it is hands down the best iPhone around right now. But yeah, if you've used one, comments, thoughts, feelings in the description below. Let me know what other videos that you want to see, what other roundups. Thanks for watching BTech.